This After Effects tutorial is sponsored by aejuice.com. Hey everyone, in this After Effects tutorial, we will learn how to create a freeze frame animation in After Effects without using any plugins. You can use this kind of cool effects in your post-credit scenes for your short films or your cinematic videos to introduce your characters in a very dynamic way. And it definitely looks pretty awesome. So without any further ado, let's jump into After Effects and get started. Hey guys, make sure to check out I Want It All bundle from Aejuice, which contains over 5,000 animated elements, transition, presets and titles for your projects. It comes with a handy pack manager plugin, and this is one of those investments that will last you for a lifetime. Oh, and they also have a free starter pack. It has over 100 animations that you can try it out for free. For more information, check out the link in the description below. Alright guys, so here we are in After Effects. Let's start by creating a new composition. This is going to be our main comp, so let's call this main, not main 1920 by 1080, 25 fps and 10 seconds long. Hit OK. Let's create a new comp which is going to be our video placeholder, so I'll call this video. And I'm going to use a 4K footage. You can of course use 1920 by 1080 if you want to, but using a bit bigger size is always helpful. So I'm going to use a 4K footage, but the comp size will be 2K. I'm going to hit OK. Let's go into our assets and I'm going to drag and drop in the video. So here I have a very nice video, as you can see. I'm going to scale this down a bit, so hit S and set this to around 90%. But if I hit Ctrl Shift H, you can see this is a 4K footage. So let's go back into our main comp. Let's drag and drop in the video composition. Hit S and scale this down to 75%. All right. So now at around 2 seconds, I want to add my freeze frame. So what I'm going to do is select the layer, hit Ctrl D to duplicate it, and then right click, time and freeze frame. Then you can hold Alt and open square bracket to crop the layer. So now after our normal footage, it's gonna pause at 2 seconds. Also, I'm going to select the bottom layer, hit Ctrl Shift D to split the layer up, and I'm going to move this at the back. We will use it later on. So let's change the color of this video to something like a red color. So this is our freeze frame. I'm gonna rename this to BG. Let's call this BG. Hit Control D to duplicate it, and let's call this maybe biker. Let's hide the BG for now. Select the biker now. Basically, I'm gonna create a mask around the biker to cut that out from the background. So I can just simply select the pen tool, make sure the layer is selected. You can zoom in quite a lot and then start to mask out the biker just like so. So masking is a very simple process and you guys get the idea of what we are going for. So I'm not going to put in more time in doing this. All I'm going to do is just delete this and use the mask footage that I have from this comp. So I'm going to select this, hit Control C, and I'm going to paste it right over here. So basically, we have created a mask for the biker, and of course you can download the free project file from the link in the description below. So let's turn on our background. So now we have just the mask of the biker and our background as well. So on the background, let's add a tint color. So go into effects and preset, apply the tint. For the darker color, I'm going to go with a nice blue shade, maybe something like a bluish purple, something like so. And for the white shade, I'm going to go with a nice dark pink. So that looks Pretty nice. Also on the mask layer of the biker, I can hit M, and let's go into mask property, and you can add a feather of 2 just so that we don't have any harsh pixels. There we go. Now let's select the biker, hit Control D to duplicate it. You can hit Control Shift H to hide the layer controls so you can work a bit more with ease. And then I'm going to move this just a touch and hit S and scale this up to around 72%, just like so. Then let's create one more copy, hit Control D, move this again to the right, hit S, and let's scale this up to around maybe 78. And finally hit Control D again. This is going to be my last one, but you can create more copies in case if you want to. That would look really cool as well. So there we go. Now I think it's cropping at the bottom, so I don't really want that. I'm going to select the 3 copies and I'm going to move them a bit, just like so. Maybe move the top one a bit more. I don't want it to crop from the bottom. Let's select the second one. I can hit P actually. Let's move this position like so. Same for this one. Okay, that is looking perfect. Now I'm going to displace them by 1 frame. So let's move this one frame forward, this one 2 frames, and this one 3 frames. So now we have something like this, which looks pretty cool. Now let's select the top layer. Maybe I'll change this color something like yellow so we know that this is the main top layer. And going to effects and preset, I'll add unsharp mask on this just to make it look a bit more crisp. Let's set this to 60 and radius to 4. Also, let's add a stroke on this. Double click. There we go. Maybe put the unsharp mask below. So we have this nice stroke. Let's increase this brush size to 3 and the brush hardness all the way up to 100. So now you can see we get this really nice look. And finally, I will add a cartoon effect. This is optional. It's an inbuilt cartoon effect if you want to use this, but it looks super cool as you can see. Maybe let's put this on the top. Yep. You can see it gives this really nice look. You can obviously play around with the complete effect and get a really interesting look if you want to, but this is working fine for me. So now we have the freeze and then it snaps in just like so. Also, one more thing that I would need to do is go right over here at 2 second and 5 frames, select the background layer on which we have applied a tint. Let's keyframe the tint as well. So let's create a keyframe on the amount to tint. Go back at the very start and set this to 0 so the tint animates in just like so. And also I'm going to add an unsharp mask, or let's add a sharpen to the background, and let's set this to around 600 or 650 just to add in a more texture to our background as well. So as you can see, looks pretty nice so far. Let's create a new adjustment layer now, which is going to be our transform. So I'll just rename this to T, go into effects and preset and type in transform, double click to apply that up. And I'll go at 2 seconds, hold Alt and open square bracket to crop that up. And let's create a keyframe on the scale and the position as well. Let's hit U. So we can see those keyframes. Go right over here. Let's go to 5 seconds actually, and we scale that up and bring down the position so it's still in the frame. So we have something like this, Maybe I'll keep the keyframes to 3 seconds. So something like that. Let's see. Yep. As you can see, it's looking pretty nice. Now it looks pretty static at the moment, so I'm going to give it a little bit of handheld effect. So we can do that by using a simple wiggle expression. So I can hold Alt and click on the stopwatch of the position on the transform and type in wiggle, open and close parentheses. Let's go with 3 comma 10. That should work good. Let's see. Yep, so as you can see, we get this really nice kind of a handheld feel to this. Now let's go to 2 second and 20 frames, and I'm going to add a little bit of movement to this. So let's select the transform layer. I'm going to create a keyframe on the rotation and select the layer, hit U to see that keyframe. Let's create a keyframe on the scale and position. Also go to 3 second and rotate this up a little bit. Just like, let's keep it around 6. Let's move this position a bit to the top and scale this up. So we have something like that. Go to 3 second and 20 frames. I can simply create keyframes right here. Go to 4 seconds and set the rotation back to 0, set the scale back to 100 and the position back to 960 by 540. So we have something like boom, boom, it's back to the position. Then we can hold Alt and close square bracket to crop that up. Let's go right here, select the background layer, hit U so we can see the tint properties. Copy the tint keyframes, hit Ctrl C, Ctrl V, right click, go to keyframe assistant and reverse keyframes. So it's back right over here. And then a normal video starts. So I can bring back the old video that we dragged forward before. I can select this, hold Alt and close square bracket, and then so I'm going to bring that down just like we did before. I think I just need to displace them by 1 frame. I did it by 2 frames, I think. So let's see what we have so far. Okay, so far so good. Hit Ctrl A, U to close them up and start working on our title. So let's create a new composition which can be 1920 by 1080. Call this title. And for the title, I will be using some brush and ink footages that I have. So let's first of all drag and drop in the brush that I have. Let's scale this down a bit. All right, then I will add a splatter to this. Let's hit S, scale that down, and place it right over here. Now I have already shown in my previous videos how to create this brush stroke animation. It's pretty simple. All you want is a brush PNG and then you can mask it out and animate the mask. It's that simple. So here I have this footage and you can again find this footages into the free project file. Now to color this up, I'm gonna go into effects and preset and type in Triton, double click to apply that up. Let's solo this up so you can see what we are working on. And for this, I will go with the similar color that we have for the video, and let's set this to white. So we have a combination of red and white. Let's copy this Triton, hit Ctrl C and copy paste it onto the brush. Now for this, I'm going to set this to red and set this one to white. Okay, maybe I'll set this one to white. Okay, that looks much better. As you can see, maybe I'll set this to red. Maybe I'll set this one to completely red. I think that is looking much better with the complete design. And then we can select the text tool and type in our text that we want. So for the first main text, that is the name, we'll type in David Mason. So it's looking weird at the moment. Let's switch to fill. And for the fill color, I'm going to use the same pink color that we have. And for the font, I will be using Heading Pro. Bold, looks much better. And going to effects and preset, let's add some drop shadow. Double click, make this all the way up to 100. Maybe bring down the shadow a bit. Let's bring that down in size. And also I can select the brush, hit S, unlink this, and let's increase the scale size a bit so that we can add our second text as well. Maybe position this. So we have it. Now we need to animate the text as well. So we can select the brush layer, hit Ctrl D, put it on the top of our text, select the text, hit F4 and change the track matte to alpha matte so it reveals with the brush. But I'm going to move this a bit forward a few frames and get this really nice look. Same, I'm going to do this again, hit Ctrl D. This time I'm going to move both of them below, and let's change the text to the detective and change the font to Integral, one of my favorite font. Looks good. Let's bring down the size a bit and increase the spacing a little bit. Let's pull this up so you can see we get this really nice text. Maybe pull this a bit at the back so we have a little bit of variation. So yeah, that is actually looking pretty nice. Let's go back into our main comp and add in the title that we just made. Make sure you put it below the transform layer. So boom, there we have our title. Looks really cool. Let's scale this down a bit and also rotate this. Let's place it in the position that we want. Maybe place it below this. So now we have this really nice look. So we are getting there. Let's add some more splatter onto our scene. So I can select the splatter 2 as well that we have. Let's place it. And I'm going to also change the timing of this. So let's add a stretch column and set this to 70%. And again, I can go back to my title. Let's copy paste the Triton from here, hit Ctrl C, go back, hit Ctrl V. So you can solo this up so you can see the colors that I'm using. Yep, that looks much better. And I can place it into the corners a little. Maybe just like so. Hit Ctrl D, place this one right over here, hit Ctrl D again, and one copy right here. And finally I'm gonna hit Ctrl D again, place this below the main fourth biker we have, and I'm gonna place this one just like so. Hit R and rotate this to place it in the way I want, something like that. So we have this really interesting look. But now I want to go ahead right here, select all the splatter layers that we just added, hit T, create a keyframe, go few frames forward right over here and set them all to 0, and then hold Alt and close square bracket to crop them up. Let's see what we have. So you can see already it's looking pretty cool. Now we need to obviously animate our title back again. That is the animation out for our title. So what I'm going to do is select the title, go right, maybe somewhere around there, right click and go into time, enable time remapping, create a keyframe by clicking on this icon, go right over here and copy paste the first keyframe, Ctrl C, Ctrl V, and hold Alt and close square bracket. So now if I preview this, let's see. Pretty nice. Looking really cool. So using the same technique, you can create some really cool freeze frame animations, and you can add more and more, style to this. Maybe, select a different video and try it out and do upload it on Instagram and tag me so I can check it out. So yeah guys, that is the complete tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to subscribe, comment, like and follow me on Instagram at dope.motions. I will see you guys in the next video. Till then, take care and always stay raw, stay creative. Peace out.